Consider this. You're a citizen in Israel. October 7th, attack occurs from the Hamas group. Your daughter or son or both are killed or taken. You hear reports of rape. Your kids were at the festival. What you know is that an attack occurred from Hamas. As you know, Hamas is a group of Muslims that hate Jews and want no Jewish presence in Gaza. I'm asking you, how many Palestinian civilians' lives equate to the life of your child? Israel then attacks Gaza. How many civilian lives equate to what you've lost? Let's say it is a daughter you've lost. Her body wasn't found, but you have good reason to think she was captured. When Gaza releases their prisoners of war, she doesn't come back. How many Palestinian civilians equate to your daughter's life? I don't want words. All I want to see in my comments are numbers. If you can't give a number and you are criticizing Israel, you are a coward.
Good morning, good morning. I know it's a little bit dark when we start filming, so for the first, I think it is, 15-20 minutes of filming, it's kind of a little bit darker in my videos. But yeah, you know, it's been a hard go. It's been a hard go as far as viewers go. So the positive thing to that, though, is that I can just kind of repeat talking points for the next year, and only like 4 people would know that I've actually talked about this exact thing again and again. That's the positive point, so I don't have to be quite as creative. But today we're gonna talk a little bit about kind of our story of the sheep and the shepherd. We're not telling the story anymore. We're talking about the points here. We're going to talk about our conflict. We're going to be having a premiere episode where we talk about the history of Iran, and that's going to be one foreign conflict we use as an example. But to start off the day, I got a question for you. Now, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the Jewish people, Israel's people, whether they be Zionist or not. Put yourself in the shoe of just a person. We're just going to look at them as people, because at the end of the day, that's who we're fighting. That's who we're killing. That's who we have peace with. We're just talking about people. They're just people. And the nice thing about people is that they don't have to participate in a social group. They don't have to participate in an inferior culture. People are individuals. They can make individual decisions aside from what they've been taught, aside from what they've seen. People are still individuals. There's still good in people, even if they've participated in things that aren't so good. They can totally change their life around. They can choose a different culture, a different way of living, a different way of believing. That's absolutely something that people are able to do. So look at them as people for the moment. Even if you hate them and you think boy slop and all that kind of stuff, take a look for just a moment. So put yourself in the shoes of a Jewish person, and let the history go, and we just disregard before October 7th. You know, right now we're just not taking that into account, because it's not going to matter to you after you ponder what's just happened and what you've just lost. You're the Jewish person. You have a daughter and a son that go down to this festival. The festival's raging on, it's happening. Sometime later, you hear the news that at the festival, your son has been killed. He died at the festival, and your daughter has been taken by Palestinians. That's what you hear. You can't find them anywhere. You can't locate them anywhere. Finally, your son's body is found. Of course, he's dead. He's been shot up, maybe stabbed, maybe beat half to death. Anyway, you have his body. So you get to look at him for one last time. But this dread just comes over you because what you've realized is that your daughter, your baby girl, has been taken by Palestinians, by a Muslim group has taken your daughter. I don't care. I really don't care. That would induce the most amount of fear in me that I've ever experienced, to think that my daughter had been taken by a group of radicalized Muslims. That is one of my worst fears. That happens, and then you hear the reports of women getting raped. You see a couple of videos of blood running down women's legs. You meet with a couple of neighbors, and they tell you the horrific thing their daughter said that happened to them. But your daughter's in Palestine, so you don't even have her body. You don't even know. And you're a father sitting here. I want you to be honest with me. Stop playing stupid games. I want you to start being honest with yourself here. I want you to give me a number. Go ahead and give me a number. How many Palestinian civilians equal the life of your son? Give me a number. I want to hear the number. I don't want skirting around the question. I want a number. How many Palestinian civilian lives are worth the life of your son? Shoot me the number in the comments. I want to see it. I want to see just how real you are. Come on now. Show me just how real you are. Now, tell me the number of civilians in Palestine that equate to the value and the innocence, as far as we go, the innocence of your daughter. Give me a number. I want that number. I'll tell you what, because I'm real with you and I don't play no stupid games. I don't play no stupid games. If you come over and you don't even take a military action, you don't attack my military base, instead you attack the civilian population of people at a festival, and my son dies in that? Whew! How many lives equal the life of my son? I said 100,000 Palestinian lives. 100,000 before I start to feel good about losing my son at a civilian event. 100,000. This isn't military action. You went and you mass murdered a bunch of civilians doing civilian things. You weren't aiming for the military base. 100,000. For my daughter? For what probably happened to her by these radicalized Muslims? For my daughter? Probably 300K. I will take 300,000 Palestinian lives before I start to feel anything. That's how many. That's just me being real with you. What is that now? 450,000? Probably 450,000 before I shed a tear. I'm just being real with you now. Come on, be real with me. Give me the number. Give me the number. All of you guys are capping. All of you guys are capping. Anyone who's going to sit here and act as if they're willing to just offer up their son, their daughter, and they're just going to get past it. Stop playing with me. There are people in this world that get past things like this. And that say, I'll forgive. Stop the fighting. Stop the bombing. But that is not a majority of people. That's not a majority of people. A majority of people are sheep. A majority of people think the lives of their children are irreplaceable. That there is no number that you can give to equate to the life of their children. That's how much people love their children. That's how much they desire for them to be alive. So stop capping and tell me, how many Palestinian lives are you willing to see go? How many, if you put yourself in their shoes? Now, some of you are so freaking gosh dang sheepish that you probably still can't do it. You still can't give a real answer. You still can't be honest. You're probably going to be some goofy mother trucker like Piers Morgan, and you're going to sit there and be like, oh, you know, yeah, I have children. I absolutely love them. I would, if that happened to us, we'd have to absolutely defend ourselves. But this has got to stop. Piers, I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Piers. There's no way. You're just not that kind of man, Piers. If you lost your son or your daughter the way a Jewish person did, I don't think you'd be talking the way you are. You wouldn't be talking. See, that's why I can't stand people. I can't stand people. These days, you hear all the time about people who think this way, who think that way, who have these awesome analogies until they freaking lose someone they love. Conservatives are the same way. Republicans are the same way. They love the gosh dang Second Amendment. Whatever it takes. We don't want all these kind of restrictions. We want to have our free access to weapons. Our weapons are here for something. The Second Amendment affords us those rights. We need these rights. And really what the Second Amendment is for is to ensure that our government doesn't take over and doesn't become a tyranny. That's what it's for. But look. A school shooting happens. That man and that family, the man and the wife, they lose their child. All of a sudden, maybe we should do something different about the problem of weapons access in America. Maybe we should do something different. Maybe we should have psychoanalysis. Maybe if you've committed a certain crime, you shouldn't have weapons. And a lot of you conservatives are already saying, oh, that already exists. Then go figure out how the frick to stop school shootings. Go figure it out. That would be nice. How about that? Go figure it out. So many people go, no, I need my weapons. They need their weapons. No restrictions. They lose their child, and all of a sudden, they don't really see a limit to how far we should go with what's the word I'm looking for? Gosh dang it. They don't see how far they should go with regulating how we get our firearms, how many firearms we can have, and what those firearms can do. All of a sudden, they don't really see a limit. All they see is opportunities to make right what they've lost. That's all they see. So many women today in America think that a fetus is not worthwhile, that it's not a life, that it doesn't really matter. And then something happens to probably that same woman. She gets carjacked and the guy beats the shit out of her and she loses the child. All of a sudden, she loved that child and it was hers and she needed it. All of a sudden, that fetus was a life. That fetus was a life. All of a sudden, people start shedding tears of sadness. And they can't believe that a life was taken. Something doesn't become a life just because you desire it. That's not the way it works. That's not logical. That's what I can't stand about people. Everyone has these thoughts, these ideas, until they lose someone they love. Until they lose someone they love. That's exactly what we've been talking about in our sheep and shepherd stories. everyone just thinks we should just be isolationists. We shouldn't be involved. We should let these things go. Remember in the beginning when we talked about the opium of the masses? What really gets people to start moving? What gets people to really start thinking? What gets those gears turning in people's heads again is pain, suffering, and loss. It seems to be that for people to have any ounce of logical thought, and what forces people back to reality and being real about their life circumstances and being real about the things that should happen, shouldn't happen, or the decisions that other countries should make, is that they have to incur the same amount of loss, the same amount of pain, and the same amount of suffering. Why? Why can't we just go ahead, use our faculties, use some reasoning here, and think ahead and go, hey, you know what? You know what? This is about to happen. This could be me. If this was me, what would I do? If you're that person that sits there and goes, wow, you know what? I'm not sure if I'd be okay with losing 60,000 Palestinian lives, but I'm not sure how far I would go. Then shut up. Shut up, man. If you're not willing to give a number and tell me how many lives equate to the life of your child, then shut up. Shut the hell up. And let the people who are suffering, let the people who have incurred loss decide what they're going to do. And if it's the case that both sides have incurred loss, then you've got a real war. And when wars occur, well, the reality is, wars suck. They suck. There is no playing dirty. There is no fighting nice. This is the reason why it is so important to pursue peace. This is the reason why it is so important to vote properly. This is the reason why you need moral leaders that you actually raise and that you put into these institutions that rule your life. That's the reason why we need to stop accepting inferior people that create inferior cultures. Stop being part of an inferior culture. I've already told you how culture has become inferior. I know you see it, so don't be a part of it. Don't be a part of it. Because someday, the inferior culture that you've supported will be the death of your children or your grandchildren. Or maybe your great-great-grandchildren, but you probably don't care about them, so let's just say your great-grandchildren. If you create an inferior culture, it will surely lead to the death of your descendants. Somewhere down the line, you will lose. Now, another thing. A lot of people are going to think, well, so what if America got into a war and we lost 100,000? We have a population of 320 million. So what if we just lose 100,000, 200,000? What if we do lose 200,000? But look, what if I don't even lose anybody? What if I don't lose anybody I love? My grandchildren, my children don't even suffer. Then, it kind of just, is the cycle of life. But right, that's always how people are thinking. That's always how they're thinking. Well, it didn't affect me at this exact instance, so let's just go on. Let's just go on. I've already told you guys. Shouldn't we allow gay marriage? Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we allow homosexual couples to adopt children? Shouldn't we? If it doesn't affect me immediately, then Well, you know, why not? What does it matter? So what if my son wants to become a woman? It doesn't really affect me as long as he's happy and, you know, he's just living once, YOLO, right? I mean, let him be happy. So what? So what if a 14-year-old wants to transition? Let that 14-year-old be what they want. Let them be happy, man. Just let them enjoy life, bro. You know what I mean? So what if she's on her 5th abortion? So what? So what if murdering is, you know, contraceptive for her? Murdering is her contraceptive. That's her version of a condom, is murdering her offspring. Just let her live, man. We can't control women's bodies. It doesn't affect me at this moment. You know what? Can't we just let it go, man? Shut up, bro. I can't no more. When are we going to stop acting as if these little details, these little cultural decisions that we allow don't actually affect the way we live? They sure as hell do. Every time we allow a little bit more of degeneracy, a little bit more. Now I'm pretty libertarian when it comes to freedoms in America. There's a lot of things I think should be allowed, not murder, freaking F all that. There's a lot of things though I think should be allowed because, you know, we should be free to F up our lives. We should be free to be degenerate. But as a society, we mustn't accept these things as normal and as okay. We must not embrace the sins of our fellow brethren. We cannot. And that's exactly what we've done. We've embraced the sin of other people. We've embraced the sin of our culture. We thrive in it. We live in it. It's almost like we freaking love it. Why? Why? All these little things that happen that our parents and our grandparents just said it's a small thing. Just let them go. They just want to be seen. They just want to be heard. Let them do their thing. Let them enjoy their life. They only live once. Let's just let this go. Our grandparents and our parents did that. Look at what the frick we have now. What the frick was the silent generation doing? What the frick is going on? You literally have men that have no right to their child until it is birthed out of a woman. And then the man is looked at by society as a secondary option, a secondary parent. Why? What? Why? See this slope that we're on? It's a little bit too freaking slippery. And you just kind of keep sliding down the slope, but because you're not rolling down the slope, because you're not in pain, because you're not suffering, you just keep sliding down the slope and you just keep thinking, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. What's going on is not okay. Our children and our grandchildren will suffer for these slights. They will suffer the consequences of these dumbass decisions. They really will. Now, we have to be intellectually fair. We have to be fair. Put yourself in the shoes of the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people have ruled themselves since something like, I believe, 2007. Israel pulled out of Gaza. They were allowed to rule themselves, and they have been free to vote. The people of Gaza voted in Hamas in a free election. Now, after Hamas was elected, just like what most scum tyrants do, is they killed their opposition and they ensure that they don't have an opposition. That's just a common thing in the Middle East. Even Russia does it for some freaking reason. You don't want opposition. You want to rule. There is no limits. There is no giving up power. You maintain power and you hand it down to the next tyrant. That's just kind of the pattern of the Middle East for some freaking reason. Now, you've voted in Hamas. Now you have no other option because he ain't leaving. He ain't leaving. And if you think he's going to leave, he's going to ensure the life of your children, of your grandchildren, are all lost before he goes. Because he's going to hide behind his civilian population. And that's what he's doing. Stop capping out. Stop it now. I can't freaking take it anymore. Of course he's hiding behind his civilian population. He's a freaking coward. Sorry, the group is a coward. That's what they do. I just can't. I'm just so tired of skirting around the issue, playing games. No, these morons hide behind their civilian population. It's a media tactic. And it's a smart tactic. Because most sheep can't stomach conflicts and war. Nowadays, we all get to see real time what's happening. So we all have real time opinions. And most of our opinions are rather stupid. Because most of us are sheep. Sheep have the stupidest freaking opinions. Remember, sheep just really aren't based in reality. They really just aren't. What do you expect from them? We have to give them a little bit of leeway. Remember how sheep just gradually kind of go down the slope? Yeah, that's just how it is. So of course they can't stomach it. Of course they can't stand it. Of course not. Oh, but sheep can be cruel. Sheep can be so cruel. Because watch that same sheep lose his daughter. Watch that same sheep lose his son. And all of a sudden, all those heartfelt little comments, those big crocodile tears kind of disappear, and it's time for freaking war. All of a sudden, I am going to remind you today, if you can't give me a number of Palestinian lives that are worth the lives, that equate to the life of your child that you love, if you cannot give me the number, then shut up. Shut up. Stand by. Stand aside. It isn't to say that you shouldn't shed tears for civilians, because it's a horrific thing. It's difficult to see. You should. It's okay to have a hard time stomaching it. It's all right. It's all right. Some people have some pretty decent morals and ethics, and they're just going to have a problem with it. That's all right. It's okay. But before you raise a Palestinian flag, I want you to give me a number. Have some empathy. I totally understand. It's okay to have that empathy. You should. Totally understood. But do not think that you should go about telling another country how to fight its wars. that you should go telling other parents how they should react after the loss of their son or their daughter. You're wrong for that. If you think that you should have empathy for the civilians in Palestine, if you think you're such an empathetic person, but then on the other hand, you think that you should go about telling parents how they should feel, how they should react about the loss of their children, then you don't have empathy. You don't have empathy. You're just a random revolutionary or some crap like that. You're just talking. You're just a freaking moron. You're just a moron. We're going to go next episode with putting ourselves in the shoes of the Palestinian people. We'll continue that. Thank you guys so much for coming to this episode. I'm tired of all this fake crap that goes on. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of people lying to themselves and lying to other people. I didn't lie to you today. I didn't lie to you today. So I don't want you to lie to me. I want you to be honest with me. Comment down and tell me how many civilian lives equate to your son or your daughters.